All right. I think it's live. Give us a wave in chat, I guess. If you can see my ugly face and the new Norfolk Developers website. A little bit of a cheeky shout out for that. Had a few issues with OBS this morning, so a couple of my scenes are a little bit messed up, but I guess we'll see when we get to them. At the moment I can't edit them because my scene is exactly the same as my resolution size, and obviously I can't move, for some reason can't move around or zoom inside the scene, so I can't actually see my entire scene. So good fun, good fun. Chat's quiet. I'm not kicking off until I get something in the chat. There we go. Hey, sure. This one looks fine. All right. How about this one? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, that looks okay. Other than my face is over the terminal a little bit. I can't actually see that webcam view on my my view at the moment. And this one should be code. Sweet. Yeah. Brilliant, brilliant. Head is in the way of the bit that you type code in. Yeah, it is. We'll clear it and we'll make sure code goes in at the top. Make the prompt longer. Should we rename it to a ridiculously long habilitics? Actually, I can. There we go. Perfect. I can just about see that on my scene on OBS. All right. Can you run one windowed so you can see all of your canvas? Don't know. You mean multi-view windowed? Oh, look at that. Oh, no. Oh, no, I've moved it. I mean, I can't, yeah, I can see, yeah, that's helpful actually, thanks, Kev. I've now got a little pane with, feel like even more like a news studio. Feel like I'm in a scene from the back room of the newsroom or something. Alright, cool. So yeah, new Norfolk Developers website. It's up on GitHub, so you've got no excuses. Please feel free to contribute. I think we've had a new contribution this week from Damien as a countdown timer for the next Nordev event. Should be fun. Anyway, you're not here to listen to me bang on about Norfolk Developers. I will, however, quickly do a shout out. Laravel. Today we're going to be covering CI, CD, and getting it deployed. A little bit on Git, of course, as well. Goes hand in hand to some extent. So last week, learned about the PHP framework for web artisans. Not too sure how I feel about being called a web artisan, but right, thanks, Kev. I will add sounds to the shout-out scene. You don't want to hear me bang on it anyway. Cool. So yeah, last week covered PHP framework for web artisans. Like I say, not too sure how I feel about being called an artisan, but we'll crack on. I put out a poll on the Twitters, like I said, about what we're going to use today to deploy Laravel. And GitHub Actions has won by a metric mile, followed by a server. So nice and simple. Even more simple because I realized, well, basically last night, if I go with the DigitalOcean option, we can use some of their pre-made templates. I don't want to get bogged down in setting up the ins and outs of a LAMP or LEMP stack on a server, but if somebody does want me to do that at some point, I can pick up on that, I guess. But yeah, we'll be using DigitalOcean today because they ship with a load of pre-built stacks. You can even grab some off the marketplace, third-party ones, and build a server based off that stack in moments. So we'll be using that today, hand in hand with GitHub Actions. So I use CI and CD with pretty much, well, touch wood, every project basically. It takes away the concerns, well, to a certain extent, takes away the concerns with deployment. Takes away the time required for a deployment as well. Means you don't have to be stuck at your computer to do a pull request and get that up to live. You can effectively instruct that stuff through your source control. So we'll be using GitHub Actions. It's fairly new. I think possibly about a year old now. They seem to be fairly slow on the uptake of integrating a pipeline. BitBucket pipelines was a thing for quite some time. Been using those for a while. And then GitHub Actions, I think, yeah, like I say, it came out in about a year ago. I think around about the time Microsoft bought GitHub. So, what is a pipeline, I guess? So if anyone's familiar with the likes of Jenkins, which is kind of the de facto standard when it comes to running pipelines, then this is effectively the modern equivalent of that, integrated within GitHub. So it allows you to run steps through a pipeline and have those steps, or those jobs, sorry, be ran off the back of a pull request or a push event, or, to be honest, quite a lot. So I think there's a list of events somewhere in here. Oh, probably not, no. These are their marketplace. So GitHub is a little bit different. It works in steps, it works in runs, and you can grab an action that will basically configure your pipeline to be, for example, in this instance right here, set up a G-Cloud environment. But what you can do is you can do things like what we are going to use. There'll be one here somewhere, I'm sure. There's quite a few. So a GitHub action for Composer, for example. This contains within it some steps to get the current image that you're using to contain Composer. So it runs on Ubuntu latest and it completes the following steps. So it will check out, which is the GitHub action to check out the current branch we're looking at. And it is, there we go, using the next command here. So we've got the dots or YAML here, so it's an array of steps. So we've got the second step here. It's going to just grab the image the action pxgamer composer and run it with this command. So essentially what we do is imagine the scenario in which you're deploying Laravel in a normal scenario, normal everyday scenario, and basically encode those into steps that then GitHub will play out for you on their servers rather than you doing it yourself. And like I say, there's quite a few marketplace actions in here. There may even be, we could perhaps cheat. There will be, I'm sure, one maintained for doing Laravel. Okay, so it uses this is a step to set up PHP onto that Ubuntu latest Docker image. So this is effectively going to check out your repository, again using that actions checkout. So it will check out the current repository that's triggered, or the branch or the commit that's triggered this particular job to run. So in this instance, it's going to on push to the branch master. It's going to run this this job. So it will check out the repository, grab your repo, set up the environment using this particular action, and you can pass along arguments to those actions. So we're passing along the argument of PHP version 7.4. We're then going to apparently install something called Pratisimo. This is the first I've heard hearing of this package. Speed up the package installation process. That sounds enjoyable. Run composer install on the repo that you've just checked out, and then deploy to server, which again is going to use a slightly different action. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce that. Deploy action, and then of course pass it some variables for your user, the server to which you're going to deploy. In our instance, that's going to be a DigitalOcean image, DigitalOcean server, sorry. So, in order to get going with this, we need a GitHub repository, and so let's create one now. Now, within GitHub, I'm pretty sure, you don't quote me on this though, I'm pretty sure public repositories get infinite, unlimited minutes, build minutes within GitHub Actions. I think private you do get a slight allotment of them, but you will probably have to pay in order to get some more. Fairly similar with all of the services really. They give you kind of an entry level amount of minutes or CPU time, and then from there on in excuse me, telephone call. From then on in, it's for you to pay per minute. You can get packages and stuff, of course. So, create a new repository on GitHub. Not too sure how many people are familiar with Git, but I will cover it briefly, quickly. We will create a repository. So let's call this Nordev Hablytics, name of our repo. We'll make it a public repo so everyone can check it out at your leisure. We won't be adding any of this because we already have a repository, and it will just become a little annoying for us to then have to pull these in. So we'll create an empty repository. Excellent. And GitHub gives you some really handy tips on how to push or how to sync with your local copy with this copy. So this might get a little bit complicated for me because I'm going to try and use SSH keys. I usually tend to use my little treasure for all my SSH keys, so my Git is set up to use that. So wish me luck, basically. I mean, we should be able to use a key instead. So you have two options when connecting to Git. You can connect via HTTPS, in which you're going to have to pass on your username and password, or you can connect via SSH. SSH being the fairly familiar service if you're familiar with logging into any one of those DigitalOcean servers or EC2 servers or any server for that matter. You're predominantly going to be using SSH to connect to that. So it uses public and private keys. The public key you give to anybody. It is public. The private key you keep locally on your machine. You use your private key to sign requests, basically. So you sign, they'll generate you a challenge with your public key, and you sign it with your private key to say, yep, this is me. So we're going to check out my profile now, I think. Probably not. I think it might actually be settings. So where are we? Settings? Settings. There we go. If you come down to SSH and GPG keys, I'm assuming that's visible for everyone. Give us a shout if you can't see. Come down to SSH keys, you'll see Erebor is my treasure, and we'll add a new SSH key. So here we're going to add our temporary key for Nordev stream. Excellent. One single box here, which accepts your public key. So how do we generate a public key? Well, we go to our terminal, and I'm going to flip my scene to the terminal, and with a little bit of luck it'll be there. So wherever you are, if you're on a Linux machine, this is going to be fairly easy to follow through. If you're on a Mac, I'm pretty sure, somebody will confirm in chat, but I'm pretty sure you've got access to the command ssh_keygen. with a dash, not an underscore. Ssh Keygen. It will prompt you for a directory in which to save it, and all of your SSH keys usually live in your home directory and in a directory called SSH. So we'll copy that across because we're going to give it a different name. We don't want this ID_RSA because we don't want to replace the one that already exists in my directory there. So we'll just call it GitHub RSA for now. In fact, I might even have one called GitHub RSA. So let's call it GitHub Nordev RSA just for safety. So tap enter. It's going to ask me if I want a passphrase. I don't. You can add a passphrase, but again, it will prompt you for this every time you would go to use that key. It's a little bit irritating, if I'm honest. And if you're maintaining that private key that's always kept on your local machine and secure, then hopefully you won't need a passphrase on it, but that's up to you. So what it will tell us is it's generated 2 files in the directory we asked it to. And it will show us a little picture. It's quite cool. It's just generated from our from our key. So if we now go and look in the SSH directory, we'll see we've got our two keys. So we've got an RSA key and an RSA.pub. This is your private key, this is your public key. So we will have a quick look at it. It's fine to look at. And it'll look like this. It's a fingerprint. So we'll grab it. Now, you can grab all these funny characters right up to here, and it will add a username and machine at the end. You don't actually need to copy this part. You can copy it all if you like. It's up to you, but I usually just grab this part of it, copy that, and we'll pop it into our SSH key on GitHub, which you should be able to see. I'm just going to check the stream. Yeah, there we go. Brilliant. All right. So once you've added that, tap Add SSH Key. It's going to ask me for my password apparently. There we go. And it's added. Now you can check that this key has worked by going back to your terminal, which you should be seeing in a moment, and then using the SSH to connect to that. So SSH git at github.com and enter, and it's going to complete. This is where I thought, yeah. Let me try plugging my key in and seeing if it will fall through. 1 second. No. Damn it. So, excuse me, this is a little bit of a hacky workaround for the fact that I use this key. So we're just going to tell it directly to use the GitHub Nordev RSA key to make that connection, and with a little bit of luck, why is it still asking me on that? There we go. So excuse all of the spam. but you'll see at the bottom here, you won't get any of this crap. But at the bottom here, you'll have, hi Elysian, you have successfully authenticated, but they don't provide shell access. It's a shame. Get shell access to GitHub, that would be pretty sweet. But anyway, connection to GitHub closed, but that means your Git is now set up. You can make an SSH connection to GitHub. So we will go back and we'll look at our README again from the new repo, and we're going to grab our SSH key, our repo URL here, and back to our terminal, back to our Habalytics project. So git status in our Habalytics directory, it's going to say it's not a Git repository. Fair enough. So we need to initialize it, git init, and it's created an empty Git repository for me now. You'll notice my terminal has now jumped into life as well, telling me that I'm in a Git repository. And this little cross here is to tell me that I've got untracked changes. So everything in here at the moment is untracked. We haven't added anything. So first port of call, I usually add the README. And we were amusingly having this conversation only a moment ago in Discord actually, and I don't know why. Oh, it will be because I wonder if GitHub has generated a main branch. No, we should probably have a main branch, but a problem for another time. So git add README. We now have in our tracking changes to be committed our new file of readme.md. We shall commit it. Big bang. It's going to ask me. Right, here we go. So I wonder if this will let me throw away. Damn it. Oh, wait, that's a commit. So I will actually have to enter this one. 1 second. So I use GPG keys with my Git because it will enable me to sign my commits. So it allows me to sign those commits with my public key, and as a result, when I commit, you should be able to see that in a second. You'll notice that where are we? In the Norfolk Developers website, for example. We've got a verified stamp here. If I click on it, it'll tell me which GPG key. There's been some horrific stories to go with the reason why I do that, but recommend having a look into that. You can do it without a treasure. You can just do it with a fairly normal, just bulk standard GPG keys. But anyway, again, something for another day. So we have now got our Big Bang commit. So with a little bit of luck, I'm going to be able to push now. No, we're not. Right, sorry, I missed a step. Right. So we have our commit. We've initialized the Git repository. We'll jump back over to the where are we? Nordev Habalytics, and we're going to need to grab this URL because we need to tell Git where it's going. So we need to git remote add, and we need to give it a name. This name is fairly inconsequential. You just need to remember it. We often go with origin for the original, the actual main Git repository. I'm just going to paste that in and get rid of that type hint. We usually usually call our main branch or our main repository origin. I usually call, perhaps if I was forking a project, I'd call the upstream fork upstream, for example, but you can add multiple remotes. You can be tracking from many remotes, keep backups in all over the place if you wished. So we're going to add that git remote, and if we ask git remote to show us those, we'll see we've got a fetch and a push now, and we should now be able to push. However, it's going to complain that it has no tracking for this particular branch we're on because we've added this origin. We now need to tell it we want to push to origin master, and I'm going to use the U flag to say that I want to set this current local branch to always be origin master so that I can then push at a later stage without using that. Okay, yeah, this might be an issue. I don't know how to get Git to use that particular identity. So let's have a quick look. Git flag set SSH key. Oh, look at that. I think I might already have one of these actually. Looks like we can use -i just the same as we can with SSH. So that's pretty handy. So we should be able to say git -i wiggly line to get to the SSH directory, GitHub, Nordev RSA, push U origin master. What? Okay, brilliant. Where did it say about an SSH as an I? Right, I first started reading the question. Yeah, we're gonna need to set this up. This is where it gets a little bit ropey because I'm opening my config file. I don't know what's in here. Excuse that. Identity file is going to be the one that we just created, and I can't remember what we called it. Is it GitHub, Nordev, RSA? With a little bit of luck, use a Git. Perfect. We'll just close that out. Apologies, everybody. Right. With a little bit of luck now. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Now you won't have to do any of that messing about because, like I say, you don't have a treasure. But if you do have a treasure, give us a shout. It's a really awesome feature of storing your SSH keys on there instead. Sweet. So we've pushed. What's happened? Let's go look at the Nordev Habalytics repository. We've got a README file. Excellent. So, fairly simply, I'm going to push the rest of it up now. I think I spotted. No, cool, right, sweet. So we can just go git add a capital. This will add everything that's awaiting commit. So we'll have commit wild Laravel appears. Alright, so we've committed. We'll push. We don't need the U origin master again because it knows now because we used the -u flag on the last push. Alright, let's see what we've got now. Cool. An application has appeared. Has it not? It has. Brilliant. Alright, so we will set up actions in a moment, but let's kick off DigitalOcean. So let's kick the build off with that. So I mentioned DigitalOcean have a marketplace for one-click apps. Ooh. There it is. This marketplace is pretty cool. You can basically boot up a server pre-configured with one of these official images here, or search for one. So I know that there's a Laravel one because I cheated and had a look last night. This one will set up literally everything you need to get a Laravel package running, including installing Laravel for you as well. We're not going to use that one. It seems a little bit far-fetched, a little bit cheaty. So we're going to instead use a LEMP image. Now the LEMP image is Laravel, Nginx, MySQL, and PHP, and it's one of the initial options when you create a new droplet on DigitalOcean. So if I get started now, we should have an option in here. For a LEMP stack. For some reason I seem to remember it being a little bit, there we go, a little bit more announced than that. I seem to remember it just being on this page before. Okay, so we're going to create a droplet. Now DigitalOcean, obviously they're Silicon Valley-esque, so they've got to call things differently. A droplet is equivalent, if you like, to an EC2 instance on Amazon. It's a plain old cloud server. You can then pick different tiers, just like you can with EC2 or Azure or any of these services, really. We will go fairly cheap, I think. We'll go with a standard basic CPU package. How much do we want to pay a month, basically? Let's go with this $10 a month plan here. So 2 gigs memory, 1 CPU, 50 gig of SSD, and 2 terabytes of transfer. If we break any of that in this project, then we're doing something wrong. Okay, cool. We will then add London. I think we'll have a data center in London anyway. We don't need this, I don't think. No. Remove it. That's shared storage. You can move around and attach to different droplets and stuff. My Discord is going crazy. I'm going to turn them, mute that. There we go. Cool. VPC network. We will pick. Yeah. Hang on. Is this? Yeah. That's. Yeah. There we go. That's good. We don't need any of this. We will create some SSH keys though. I've already got one set up here, so I think we'll just set up a new one for this. And again, it's the SSH Keygen again. So we're going to go back to our terminal. We're going to say SSH Keygen. Enter. We're going to pass in this time a different file name, so let's call it Digitalocean Nordev. Or say no passphrase. There we go. Excellent. So if we have a quick look at this, just checking that that was .pub for a moment there. All right, and we'll copy our public key for this and chuck it in here. And give it a name. We'll call it Nordev temp again. All right. So what will happen here is, upon creation of the DigitalOcean server, it's going to assign this SSH key to the root user for me. So that's pretty sweet. Then going to ask me how many I want. I definitely only want one. We'll give it a name that's not horrendous. Nordev LEMP, sorry. Habalytics. Cool. We'll assign it to that project. We don't want backups. It's fine. It's fine. We don't need backups. All right. Here we go. I believe it's now booting. So we'll just leave that to run. It's pretty quick by the looks of things. All right. We have a repository to which we want to add actions. We can do that fairly simply through the actions page here. It has already detected that we have a Laravel project in here and is offering the Laravel PHP workflow and a PHP one as well. Shout outs now as to whether or not we want to use one of these, I guess. Shout outs in chat. Obviously this is going to offer this to you as well as me. It's up to yourselves. I can obviously go through and show you what this workflow looks like. and explain it. Very little action in chat today. Well, I'll give you a few minutes or a few seconds. Oh, hey, Hamza. Loving the Digitalocean sound. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. You pay for it, but it's pretty cool. There we go. It's done. It's booted. There we go. It's got a private IP. If we tap this button here, it should have already done that. When I picked the... Oh, yeah, no, it hasn't. Okay. So we'll just assign an IP address to it. Yeah, pretty much, Kev. I only got one professional product, professional service I'm hosting on this, I think. Everything else is mostly on my either EC2 or my WAMP. My cPanel WHM setup. Alright, we have a floating IP address. If we visit this, we should get... Okay, I was going to say we should get the default Nginx page, but apparently they've even created as a little quick start guide page for once you've booted up your server. It's pretty sweet, pretty sweet. Alright, what I'm going to do quickly in the background now is assign that on my DNS so that can be propagating through. Were there any answers as to whether or not I'm allowed to use the Laravel action in here, or whether you're going to make me write it out by hand? I just realised I'm staring like that at my monitor. That doesn't really work. You're there. Right, there's been no answer on it, so I'm going to rock on and I'm going to use one of these. Hey Simon. We can find out. So if we, how much stuff does it do, says Sean. So if we, any of these that are suggested, click on the repo basically below and it will take you through to it. So, probably going to see a fairly similar setup, I'd imagine, although... Yeah, this is just straight up weird, to be honest. So it's running on Ubuntu latest, and it's using PHP and Composer, but at no stage have we seen it set those things up, which is a bit weird. Don't think that's gonna work. Let's have a look at this PHP one. Again, Actions checkout on Ubuntu latest. Apparently Ubuntu latest now has Composer and PHP installed by default. That's very strange. So what's it going to do? It's going to check out, like we were saying earlier. It's going to validate the Composer JSON and lock files. Yeah, exactly. Now we have to try it, says Sean. Composer cache. So it's going to cache those packages that it's downloaded for the next time. It uses this quite a handy little function of GitHub Actions, which is the hash files function, which will give you a hash of a grep of files or a load of files, or just one file in this particular instance, the Composer lock, or in fact any Composer locks throughout the entire project are going to get hashed, and then it's going to use that key to restore from that cache again in the future, should it need, or should it match basically. And then we're going to run a Composer install. This should be curious. Let's do it. See what happens. See how many times we have to commit to fix this. Okay, so we go back we'll set up this workflow. And boom. We are dropped into, quite frankly, one of the best source control editors I've come across. I've been working with this a little bit recently for the Norddev website to build videos, for how to contribute and stuff. And this little editor is incredible. You can do a whole entire pull request inside of this interface now. Do several files, you know, put them all together, and then push it and do the pull request. Who needs Visual Studio Code or any code? You just do it in here. Just write code in here now. All right. So when do we want it to work? We want it to work usually on a push to master, right? So we protect the master branch and we do PRs into master in order to get that deployed. Now I don't actually follow this. This is follow this myself. I actually have release branches. So I will have a feature branch that will then get merged into master, and then a master pull request to the release staging branch or a release UAT branch or something, and then a release release production branch as well. But for today's purposes, we'll just have this one master branch that's going to be always deployed, always checked out on the server. So let's have a quick look. Again, I'm staggered to believe that there's PHP Composer installed into this Ubuntu latest image. We're going to check out, we're going to validate, we're going to cache, and then we're going to install dependencies. Sounds good. Let's see if it works. So we can come up here, click Start Commit, and a basic PHP action will commit directly to the master branch for now. Commit new file. All right. So that should have, there we go, triggered the workflow. So inside of actions now, we have our commit that's triggered it, adds a basic PHP action. It was a commit pushed by Elysian. It's queued and it's now running. Here we go. So if we click through into this and watch it work, it's magic. So if we click on the left hand side here, here's the job that's running. So it's a job called build, and oh my word. Like, this stuff is far too easy to produce a tutorial on. Like, I didn't do anything, I just basically clicked a load of buttons. And boom. So, what has it done? Validated the composer was valid before we go ahead and start installing dependencies. Installed all of the dependencies. Cached them. Oh, hang on, I'm going the wrong way up this thing here. It's cached, install dependencies. Hang on, this is all yeah. Okay, cool. And then the checkout is down here for some reason. That's confused me. We've got two checkouts. That's what's confused me here. I don't know why there's a checkout down here. Oh, it's a post job cleanup. Right. Okay. Cool. All right. That confused me for a moment there. So it's practically done everything we needed it to do. It's installed dependencies. It's made sure that vendor directory is filled up with all my libraries that we need. Done. Big tick. Excellent. So what is this validated? What is this? This is CI at the moment, right? It's continuous integration. We're ensuring that the master branch, the code that's currently checked in, has at minimum got a valid composer package, and that the dependencies install. If those both pass, then jobs are good, and we've kind of run a very simple CI process. All right. So what would we need to do beyond that? We could be using our PHP. We could be running our PHP unit tests. So Laravel does ship with a couple of default tests that we can take a quick look at now. Hopefully, if that's flipped over for you. So it ships with a bunch of basic tests in here. So we could run those if we liked. We're not, like I say, not going to be concentrating or not going to be touching upon testing for this run through. So we'll ignore that for now. But we could be running that as part of our CI process. But fundamentally, what we now need to do is that once that's passed, once that's Composer has validated, once it's installed, we now need to basically throw it up on a DigitalOcean server, right? You need to get it up there. So there's a few tools you can use to deploy to a server. We're going to use a Linux command called rsync. It will take a take a directory on your local machine and a directory on a remote machine and an SSH key or username and password, of course, to connect to that server and remotely sync your local directory to the directory on the server. So let us proceed. I'm really curious as to whether rsync is already installed now in this base image. We've got Composer and PHP. Well, I mean, what else have they got in there? There's perhaps rsync's in there. We'll find out. What we will need to do is check out the marketplace. There might be a nice handy action that we can grab for rsyncing. So used to having a live search that I just sat here staring at that for some time. All right, what's this one here? Yeah, this looks half decent. Let's have a look around, see what else we can check out here. This looks a little better. The usage documentation is the latest the latest manifest of this YAML. That other one had objects in it and stuff. All right, this one looks pretty cool. Deploy to my heart. So we're gonna name the step. We're gonna use this particular image. And we can just pass it environmental variables by the looks of it for everything that we need to do. Cool. Looks pretty sweet. Yep. I'm happy with this one. I mean, to be honest, Simon, there is 60-70% chance that that's going to fail. I've seen that asserting true is true. No, it's not even really that funny. I was about to say I was making a joke. Right, cool. We are going to use this deployment image to get our Laravel package shipped out. So let's do this in Sublime because I'm not going to use the GitHub interface for the entire day. So F3 should be looking at code now. I've tweeted out, Simon, you saw it. I don't need a Stream Deck. I've just got a post-it note that's stuck. And remember last week I was forgetting my keys. I've just got a post-it note stuck there today with it written down. I don't know why people spend 250 quid on a stream pad thing. Cool. We need to pull this. We've been working on GitHub, so we need to go to our terminal and we need to pull. So we're on a clean tree. So let's pull. I'm going to take it on the assumption that you're trolling now, Simon. So I'm just going to leave you to it. All right. So we should have a new directory now. That's good. Yeah, been created by GitHub, called .github. Inside is workflows, and inside that is one called PHP. Now I'm going to rename this now. We're going to say deploy master to Digitalocean. Cool. So we've just got a handy name for it, basically. Last step here is to install the dependencies, and assuming that passes, we will then pass on to our new I recently installed emojis in my into Ubuntu. I'm regretting it. So deploy to Digitalocean. Simples. We're going to need to pass it some environmental variables, like I say. The host, for example. Now, in this instance, we need to refer back to our DigitalOcean, our floating IP. This server set right here is going to be our host. It's going to be where we're connecting to and dumping the project. So it's specifying a floating IP. We've got this 159 IP address here. Let's just use that for now. Where have I got? Oh, look at. Oh, I was showing you. Just realised you couldn't see any of that. Doesn't matter. We've got an IP address for our DigitalOcean server. It is this. We shall pop that in, and should probably put that in quotes as well, because otherwise it's going to think it's a decimal or something. Secrets deploy SSH key. Now, to be fair, we could actually put our everything in here. So if we pop our deploy prod host in here, and then we'll call this one deploy prod SSH key, and we need to give it a target directory. Bloody comments are annoying. This directory is going to be the directory on the server itself, so we need one. We'll need to check out what this, that directory will be. Now, I happen to know that if we stick it in var www.html, we'll probably get away with it, but we should probably not do that. So we will connect up to our Nordev Analytics image and begin finishing off the setup for it. So we have a floating IP address. Let's have a little look if we can get this going. So I'm going to flip to terminal for you. Should be a nice large terminal coming your way shortly. And then we're going to use the DigitalOcean keys. Does anyone remember what I called it? Really? I can't see it. Am I being blind? No, it's right there. DigitalOcean. Whatever RSA. Cool. And we're going to say root at 159.65.209.118 at the IP address of our server. It's going to ask if it's okay to accept the fingerprint. We're going to say yes. And that will mean that the next time that we connect up to that server, it won't ask us unless, of course, that fingerprint has changed and we know we're in for pain, I guess. If you see that message, don't dismiss it. Check it out. All right, so it looks like we've got a little intro. This is awesome. So welcome to a digital one-click LEMP droplet. To keep this droplet secure, the UFW firewall is enabled 2280 and 443. That seems sensible. In a web browser, we did this, I believe, did we not? That's a weird address. I'm pretty sure that's not. Weird. Okay, cool. The default web root is located at var HTML. That's what I was then mentioning. We'll leave this, and we'll create a new. I think they call them blocks. We'll create a new Nginx block to host our PHP site. MySQL root password has been saved in this directory for you, and certbot is pre-installed, which is pretty awesome. Certbot is allows you to let's encrypt SSL certificates. What I will now do is delete the massive message or message of the day that we've now got, which has included a helpful little hint as to how to get rid of that. All right. So, I believe we need to be looking in here. Excellent. So, configuration of Nginx is all done in etc. Nginx. If we have a look in here, we should have a bunch of sites available, and this will probably just be the. Why is that not working? We should have just a bunch. We should just have the default in here. Default and Digitalocean. I wonder if that Digitalocean is the one that we're seeing with the little keys. Interesting. Okay. Sites enabled as well is basically a symlink into. Yeah, there you go. So default is not enabled. Digitalocean has been enabled. It's pointing to that sites available Digitalocean. If we have a look at that. Again, failing to remember that I'm not actually in the directory. Sites available, DigitalOcean. There we go. Seems to be commented out mostly. They're potentially suggesting you should drop your server configuration up there. I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to make a new one. Leave this one alone. So, let's have a look. Right, what do we need to do? We need to, don't need sudo for a start. Anyone insulted by me using nano? I mean, I can use vim, but like, why would I make it painful for myself? I don't. Yeah, anyway. Etc. Nginx. Sites available. Can't spell available right now. And then we'll say Hablytics. Cool. Let's grab ourselves a basic Nginx block. As soon as I find one, there we go. We actually need one. We'll do PHP for us. Nginx block PHP. All right, looks good. So we've got a basic block here now. It's sweet. All right. We're going to update the root. We don't want this to be var dub 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 Laravel. We'll call it var dub dub Hablytics. That'll be the directory that we're going to put all of our stuff in. Now, I did mention in the last part that Laravel has the public directory. So it's actually a directory within Laravel that you need to be pointing at. So we're going to point at that public directory. We're going to tell it what index files are, and then we're going to say what its name is, and it's going to be called Hablytics. Does anyone remember if it's .co.uk or .com? Pretty sure it's it's a .com. Cool. We bought a .com. Right, excellent. Sweet. This should be good, and although I don't recognize some of these things here, this is basically passing it through to the PHP interpreter. Nginx itself doesn't understand PHP, can't process PHP, so we pass it through to a PHP service to actually render it. I'm going to just tidy this up because it's really irking me that these things seem to be on a different line. with a little bit of luck, all of these things have already been set up for us as part of that lemp stack, so we should be able to come out of here. All right. Now we just needed to enable it, and I think there's a command for doing that. I think that's it. I'll just check the lamp guide. There's a great guide that comes with the Digitalocean things usually. There we go. So if I switch you over here, every time I switch this, I've configured Chrome to be F1, which obviously launches help every time I want to switch over here. Cool. Oh, they've got a little guide here. How to set up Nginx blocks. Cool. So set up the new document routes. We should probably do that, which we created as. What did we create it as? var /hapalytics. So we'll make the -p var hapalytics. Awesome. Then suggesting chowning it. We won't do that quite yet. We will do that as directly. Create some sample pages. Create a server block for each domain. Excellent. And then we just need the bit where it tells us how to enable it. Oh. Wait, no, that's not it. Okay. Enable. Oh. That was me expecting some kind of A2EN site. But no, just do the symlink yourself, basically. So we'll symlink to sites enabled. So we'll symlink our Hapalytics from sites available to Nginx sites enabled Hapalytics. Like so. Just checking it. Looks good. Alright. Then we probably need to restart. We'll assume this is fine. To avoid server name hash bucket size overflows, I guess. We'll approach that bridge if we get into it. We'll use this command here to test our syntax. Oh, brilliant. So this would be perhaps an issue. Duplicate default server for AT and Hapalytics. Right, okay. So maybe we just remove that default one as well. Etc. Nginx sites enabled. What was it called? Digitalocean, isn't it? And that's in the sites enabled, so that's the symlink we're going to remove. Excellent. So let's try that test again. The configuration of syntax is okay. Configuration file test is successful. All right. Pretty sure that should be fine then. Sudo systemctl restart nginx. All right, let's do that. Oh, weird. Surprised it didn't complain about sudo, to be honest. Usually it does. What I did forget to do though was forward the domain. So I'm going to have to go and quickly do that. 1 second. Hope if I can type my password in right. There we go. It'll text me now, apparently. Okay, Hapalytics.com needs to point. I always do this. Go to my domain registrar and then discover that I'm using Cloudflare. Okay, log into Cloudflare. Okay, what was that address? What is it address? What's its address? Where do we find it again? It's not that one. I don't know what that one is. It's this one. Alright, see how quickly that propagates. So it should go from a Habalytics coming soon page to a probably some kind of 500 error or server not found or some kind of craziness. Let's have a look. Oh my god! I mean, it's just working on my machine. I think I've got a 404 not found, which is suggesting that it's just looking for an index file. So if we have a little look, cd var dub Habalytics, and we've got nothing in there. We said it's a public directory, right? So if we just pop a little file in there. Oh, did I just do index? Yeah, more dot even. Okay, so we've got a simple index.html file there now. Cool. Let's have a little look. There we go. Habalytics.com is now showing hello world. I was having this conversation the other day. There used to be like a time where like having to reduce your the TTLs on your domain name, on your DNS before you did a migration and all of that sort of thing used to actually take ages to get a propagation, but I swear these days it's just like instant. It's weird. Well, it's awesome, but still a little bit strange. Has anyone else noticed that? Anyway, cool. So Habalytics.com is deployed. It's pointing at our new DigitalOcean server, which is using Nginx to host up via PHP FPM with a little bit of luck. So now we can use GitHub to basically finish off our actions. So we now know the target directory. I'm going to flip you over to code now. We now know our target directory is going to be var www habalytics like so, and optional with default values apparently. So we just need to check whether or not any of these are untoward. Set to true if you want some tips. I mean, I probably do want some tips, but let's be positive and assume that we don't need those tips. User is going to be a root for now. We should probably set up a new user though. I'm just going to get rid of all these bloody comments because they're quite annoying. Okay. Just having a quick look through. This is interesting. With this. Quiet. Port 22, although port is there, so no idea why the SSH arg is. That's weird. Okay, cool. This should be it. So, I touched upon secrets. Now, obviously, you don't want to be putting your SSH key anywhere near this file, or anywhere near your repository for that matter. So, with most of these services comes a little secret store of some description. With BitBucket pipelines, they're key store or something along those lines it's called. But yeah, in GitHub we are looking at secrets. Now I can't remember, I think they're stored on the repo under settings. Secrets. So yeah, into your repo, into settings, tap on the secrets button. There are no secrets for this repository, so we should create one. This screen is where you stick your name in it for it. So we established a secret of deploy prod host. So we'll pop that in. To be honest, this is less of a secret and more of a convenient value to update when you move your server. So we'll back to secrets and we'll drop the host in there. Just make sure we've trimmed that for it. And we'll add that as a secret. Now, it's been added. It was updated just now, but what you'll notice is we've got no way of viewing it. We can click update, and I can put the IP in again if you like. There's no way to view this secret. It's been encrypted. It's only going to be exposed to the action that requires it, and it will be kept secret, as is the name of the game. All right, so we need a deploy prod SSH key. Now this key, unlike your other key, is going to be your private key. Now I don't know what the quality is like for you on YouTube there, but I'm not going to risk for even a moment anyone being able to copy or screenshot my private key. So where shall I stick you? I'm going to stick you on this wonderful. If you can somehow generate the top part. Sorry, I forgot there's no sound on that slide. Thanks, Sean. Sorry. I've been chatting away and explaining exactly what I was up to. This is just the bottom part of my private key. There's a load of characters above here, so I'm hoping with a bit of luck this is fine to show the bottom part of my private key. But I'm going to kill all of these keys as soon as we leave the stream this afternoon. Cool, so we've got our, oh my god, I just scrolled it all the way up like an idiot. We've got a private SSH key that only gets us onto this Nordev lemp stack thing, fortunately. Oh, got a weird message. Can you guys hear me? Oh, I feel like I'm on under pressure now to basically, get this all done in time so that that server has not been turned into a complete mess. Some crypto mining bot. Right, cool. So I'm going to add that secret. That's my prod SSH key. And as with the last one, if I hit update, I can't see it anymore, which is good. Right, quick swig. And Need to remember to add audio to that scene. Secrets have been revealed, Hamza. Cool. What am I doing? We've added our secrets. We've got our action set up. It has our rsync configured. Just bring you back over here. With our 2 secrets that we've just added. We've got our directory added. We've got our Nginx server set up. We're using all of the defaults here, just in case. In a moment, I'll probably delete them at some point. But for now, let us move on. So, we need to be in the... No. What's it called? There we go. Right. I just realised the key was just sat at the top of that terminal as well. Brilliant. Yeah. Don't use API keys and secrets on a stream. Cool. So, if we get status now, we're going to see the new workflows change. We get differ for sakes of demonstration. We see the changes that we've made. So we will add those changes. We will commit those changes. Adds an rsync step to GitHub workflow. It's going to prompt me for my GPG key. All right. Moment of truth. Let's push it. See what happens. Should probably check it actually gets pushed. Yeah, it's done. Right, cool. Chrome. Bring you over. And let's have a look. Oh, it's queued. And it's running. Here goes nothing. Let's go into that build. And it's off. Boom! Look how quick that was. Done, and it skipped the dependency step as well because it's got them from the last one. We haven't changed our composer JSON file, so it's just restored the original dependency, and because it knows it doesn't need to run the dependencies anymore. So it's deployed Digitalocean, which is taking a while to open because the log file is quite large by the looks of it. There we go. And you can see the command it's run here. And we can see this is all of rsync outputting. So it's all of the files that is put up there. You'll notice as well what it's done is it's spotted that we've added that public index.html file and gone, nope, that's not in my local copy. That can sod off. So that's been deleted. There will no longer be a hello world on hablytics.com. With a little bit of luck, there'll either be a 500 error page to say it can't connect to the database, or it'll just be a Laravel screen. Shall we find out? Hablytics.com. Oh, on my machine, my laptop, the DNS hasn't propagated. So that's the old server. Let's have a look on. Oh wait, what? Now I'm getting some weird stuff off Cloudflare. It's a 502. I did have the page a moment ago. After all, I literally just said, did I not, that DNS doesn't take that long to propagate? And apparently it's going to take a little while. Right, how can we get around this? I can tell you how we can get around this. Little quick hack, you probably all know it. Is this going to leak anything? Sod it. What's the worst that could happen? Let's open my hosts file and have a little looky in the boogie, and let's just do that. So in here we can actually override DNS. I don't know what that is. That XN3SHA. I think that's an emoji. I think that's an emoji local. I think that's a house. So I think that means I can get to my local machine with the house emoji. Anyway, in here, if we add the IP address of the server that we've just provisioned, like so, and we say hablytics.com lives there, we can save this file. I could save it if I had permission to. Close, no. Another cool thing. Bang bang does the last command. So sudo bang bang. They shut me down. No, I'm not going to start singing. Cool. Let's just chuck all of those down there. What do we got? 159, 65, 209, or 118 is hablytics.com. All right. Curious. Okay, then that might be that my PC is actually hitting the right service and we're getting a 502 gateway error off of Nginx on the server. Right, so I'm guessing that is to do with the PHP FPM passback. So if we go and look in our block, we're going to see, we're going to see that there was a description of a sudo, don't need sudo, nano, etc. Nginx sites available hablytics. In here is this little chap here. Now this is responsible for pushing those PHP files to this PHP FPM process. Which they're having it's probably not even 7. It might be 7.3, 7.4, could be 7 whatever. So let's go and find out what it is. We can probably look on the guide. I could have sworn I got to this guide from the guide. Digitalocean, Marketplace, Not a dicky bird about it. Okay, let's have a look in the other one. Nginx sites available. Default. With a bit of luck, there's a. Here we go. So that's 7 as well. Does look like 7.2's installed. Curious. So how to set up Nginx blocks? Here we go. It's not going to say anything about the PHPs. Okay, DigitalOcean, Nginx, lamp, PHP, proxy. Yeah, it's running. PHP 7.2, PHP conf. This is the problem with using kind of a pre-built one. You kind of got to pick it apart and be like, where it's running at. See where's the top of this now? So difficult with such huge rain. I'm also running at 1920 by 1080, which is altogether a weird experience as well. In here somewhere there should be the sock it is listening on. There we go. Dum dum dum. There. Where is it? Run PHP 7 fpm sock. I love socks. That feels like it's the same as it was, but let's go and check it. So Nano, etc. Nginx sites available. Habletics. Pretty sure that's exactly the same, right? Maybe it's not. No, it's 7.2. Alright. System, CTL, CTL, restart, Nginx. I'm a moron. Okay. Moment of truth. Hey! So we've moved from a 502 to a 500. And weirdly enough, that is probably exactly the error we're looking to receive, and that's probably a good sign. So let us travel to the world of the logs. So we are either going to be seeing, I think we're going to be seeing an error log for this. So let's look in the storage directory. And we should have a logs, and we've got no logs. Brilliant. So it's going to be in the Apache error logs. The world of logs is indeed. It's going to be in the Apache error log, I'd imagine. Or Apache. Sorry, the Nginx log. So where are they? Var log Nginx error log. There we go. Class view does not exist. It's potentially the error we're looking at. That's a weird one. I can't read anything at this size. It's crazy. Just wondering. Right, so that's PHP 7 sock failed. we've updated that to 7.2. So this is the error we're looking at. We're looking at this uncaught exception class view does not exist. So that would suggest, yeah, what the fuck? What would that suggest? Don't have Composer on here, but we don't need it. Let's make sure we've got a vendor. Class view does not exist. The weird part is that it's got into... Oh, we're in the IOC container at that point. This is weird. Why is that not working? Every week there's going to be one site kind of weird issue, surely, right? Class view does not exist in the above. That's an IOC resolution issue. It would suggest to me that this autoloader is not working because it's got as far as the container. Pretty sure that's the issue. But we've just installed the Composer packages in GitHub, which is annoying because we now don't have Composer here. So let me try something. Composer install. I could do that here, I guess, couldn't I? It's just a couple of lines, basically. That'll get it installed for you. There we go. So that's created this here, and then tell you what, set a sudden fault. Might be a permissions issue. So Composer generates an autoload file, which is kind of a reference to where all your classes live. And then Laravel uses what's called a reflection in order to find it. So it seems to be failing on that. So with a little, it's either going to be that this autoloader is not working, or it's going to be something else. Might be. Yeah, no, we're getting a 500 still. So let's see whether we've got any updates on those logs. Yeah, we have. And at this point, we see our failed permission denied. So this was covered in the Laravel action. So if we go and look, we were offered two actions. We were offered a PHP action and we were offered a Laravel action. So if we take a look at the Laravel action, GitHub Actions. No, not that. GitHub Marketplace. Laravel. God damn it. Problem is, I don't know which one that we've just imported. But anyway, in the one that was offered, there was a chmod command. So I'm going to just run that now on the server. And we're going to say storage is writable by anybody. That might get us around the current problem. There we go. So we now moved one step further on and we're seeing a beautiful 500 server error. Excellent. So this one's been rendered by Laravel, which means it's gotten the autoloader. It's managed to find a view class. It's stored a log, and I'm imagining that log is going to be now where we now need to find out what's going on. So storage, logs, Laravel.log. We didn't have that a moment ago. And what we got, that was too short. Let's see, 100. No, it's a dash n. The amount of times I rely on autocomplete. There we go. Perfect. This is fine. This is a perfectly suitable error to see. So this is another thing that we'll need to start running in our actions. So I'm going to take a note now. We need to chmod that storage directory. Storage. And we need to generate a app key. Now this key is what's used to do hashing, encryption, things like that. So if you're encrypting, you should be encrypting your users into your database, this application encryption key will be what it's based on, the encryption of that. So it needs to be the same on this server and live on this server for the time, for all time, effectively, unless you're looking to replace that database or rehash them and stuff. It should live here. So we can use, hopefully, the artisan command that ships with Laravel. And in here you will find a key generate. So this will set your application key, and then once it's been set, we don't need to set it again. So we'll key generate. Perfect. And it can't open the M file. So let's just have a look, see if we've got one. No. Another thing that was part of the Laravel flow was to actually copy this env example and create a new env with it. Now, there's a few ways you can handle it. I usually put my environmental variables in that secret store, and then we'll cat that out to that secret store, cat that out into the env on the server so that you can manage that environment on the server. For now, we will copy the example to env, and then we will run the PHP artisan key generate again. Hooray! We have an application key set successfully. This is good. If I now go back to hablytics.com. So we see a Laravel page, which is exactly what we were seeing locally, right? Excellent. So this is where the benefits of it come in, right? We've set it all up now. Let's see whether or not we can push out a quick change and see that quick change go out via CI. So that home page is mighty nice, right? I mean, it's a pretty nice looking home screen. Some nice font. I quite like this. Like, as loading pages go, it's pretty nice. But it doesn't fit in with our terrible Hello World coming soon that we did have a moment ago. So let's replace, let's restore that. So we'll pop over to the land of code. Can you see that yet? This is so weird. Right, okay, like 30 seconds behind or something. This root is being produced by this function here. So root get slash closure with a simple return statement, which is returning a view from our resources views utils welcome.blade.php. Cool. Let's create a new view. Let's call it test.blade.php. Or actually, let's call it splash screen or something. Splash. Cool. Splash.blade.php. And we'll pop our hello world. It's me. Is that how we do Ami? You know, Mario way? It's me. Can't believe I just did that. Alright, anyway. So we've got a splash.blade.php, which is going to be hello world, it's me, Habalytics. And we're going to just delete this this entire utils directory and the welcome page, because go away. We don't need that Laravel stuff. I'm going to go back to web. We're going to go into this view and we're going to say let's just return splash now. So let's check that out locally. You can see my terminal, right? Yeah. This is where it turns out that the Docker image is broken again. Hopefully not. Does anyone else accidentally type? I don't know what it is. Lolka. I quite regularly will type Lolka and search that in. Somebody needs to claim that domain, basically, I think is what I'm saying. Localhost. Don't get too excited. It's just localhost at this moment. With some Habalytics, alright? Cool. Git status. Let's add all of those changes. So all of the changes in the resources directory, which was to remove one and add the new one, and then we added a new definition to roots web. And I've got those 3 files. We need to commit them first. Commit and replace splash with an on-brand splash page. Quick sign. And oh, typed it wrong. I don't read it out. I don't know whether you guys can see that. Can you see the little pop-up that keeps popping up with like a numpad on it? I don't think you can. No, is the answer to that. Right, okay, cool. And now if we git push, boom, straight to master. Let's go, quick, race. It's a race. Where are we? Over here. Node actions. Oh, we lost. It's queued still. 11 seconds ago. So off it goes. It's noticed the push to master. This time though, I was about to say this time it might actually do a composer install, but nope. Deployed. Done. Habalytics.com. Refresh. Brilliant. 500 error. Okay. So we've got our first issue. A deployment triggers this wonderful page of 500 errors. So what's the 500 error that's been caused? Let's jump over to our server. Let's check the first port of call, the storage, Laravel logs. Yep. Why is that not working? No files remaining. What? Oh, I'll tell you what's happened. Yep. Right, okay. I've got some new stuff for you. So, rsync has come onto our server and it's run deployment. If we have a look in here though and have a look at some of the things it's done, you can see it's been mighty naughty. I mean, it's done what we've told it to do, but effectively, I mean, I think that's quite naughty, but like, I mean, it's not really because it's done. Anyway, I'm going to stop going down that chain. So it's .env has been deleted. The composer.far file that we messed around with has been deleted, but we don't need that anymore with a little bit of luck. What it has done is then gone ahead and deleted a load of bootstrap and storage files, including that Laravel log file. And then I think these are just checkings. Let's just check these. And done, basically. So what we need to do is we need to tell rsync that the storage directory is not, leave it alone, basically. This is ours. There's going to be stuff in there. Ignore it, basically. And we also need to get it to ignore the .env file. So there's a few ways you can do that. You can actually create an rsync ignore file and ask rsync to use it, and it basically follows exactly the same pattern as a git ignore file. So we can go into our code now, flip up code, should be with you in a moment. We can bring up a new file in the root directory here, and we'll call it .rsync-ignore. The name doesn't matter. We're going to reference it, call it whatever you like. We're going to come into here, and we're going to say storage / and we're going to say env, both of which you need to ignore. All right. Now I can't remember the flag off the top of my head, but there is a flag you can use with rsync to basically tell it to use that file. So I'll open up the Chrome and we'll have rsync ignore. Oops, help if I could type. Ignore file. And there it is. Possibly. The -- exclude from that looks weird. That doesn't look how I expect it to look. With those weird. That's what I expected it to look like. Right. So we pass it a file basically to the -- exclude flag. So if we go and have a look at our workflow in our PHP YAML file, this is the reason I did not. I didn't change or remove any of these. So these are the defaults it's passing through, and it looks like actually it's passing that through. Although now I'm realizing maybe. There we go. It's this one. Here we go. It's exclude from. And then we can create this file here. Thank you. Right. Okay. So we need to add this argument to here, and we can probably remove the two individual ones here. So we can paste in exclude from .rsync ignore. Save. I actually would like the Git file to get removed, so we won't ignore that. That was weird actually. Anyway, carry on. Right. Args for rsync, args for SSH. Just a quick heads up. So this, we pass our exclude from with our rsync ignore file. We have the rsync ignore file with the .env and a storage directory. Excellent. All right. So we can now flip over to our Git. Oops. Git status. We've got two files changed. We'll add all of those. Git status. They're both green. We'll go git commit, and we're going to say adds a rsync ignore manifest to rsync deploy job. And our GPG sign, and we'll push. Okay, cool. So let's see what happens now. Admittedly, I don't think there is anything for it to remove, to be quite frank. It's already run and removed that end file, so this might not be the best of tests, but the next one will. So we're adding our sync ignore file. Here we go. We're basically going to find out whether or not it works and doesn't delete the end file that doesn't exist, or errors out. Excuse me. Oh, look. We just sent a load of Git files up. Excellent. It looks good. It looks great. Perfect. All right. So that's all been sent up. What we can do now is we can come back to our server, and we can obviously do the copy the end.example to .end, and we can again generate that key. Sweet, we have an application key, we've got our default end, we're good to go, hopefully. Analytics.com. Alright. Now we get to, sorry, I just realised you can't see. Now we get to the issue with the storage directory again. So we need to make sure that we're chmodding the storage directory. However, because we're now ignoring it as part of our rsync process, we can do it on the server once and be somewhat confident that we're not going to need to do it again. So chmod with the recursive flag 777 to the storage directory. Job's a good one. Alright. Storage is now bright green, as we can see. Green and ready to go. Okay. Back over here, refresh. It's a me, Analytics. Sweet. So we have a very basic CI and CD continuous integration and a continuous delivery. I always thought that was meant deployment, but realized quite recently it's actually delivery. I think, probably. I'm probably wrong again. They might have updated it since. We've got a Habalytics domain, we've got habalytics.com running on there, and we have our Nordiv Habalytics repository deploying to it. Drop this link in chat, although there isn't a great deal to see in there yet. You can obviously have a quick look over that workflow if you like. There's a lot more that we could do in this. The potential in this is fairly unlimited. You've got a computer in the cloud, do what you like with it, you know, etc. We at some point will need to introduce the production of our npm packages, or sorry, the compilation of our npm packages. So running the npm run dev, npm run prod. So we'll need to have Node.js set up inside of here in order to run npm install and then npm run production. Potentially what we can also do in here is things like where's the GitHub marketplace gone again? I should probably leave it open. I've been there enough times. Don't search on. I did this a minute ago. GitHub marketplace. There we go. Searching code for marketplace. Okay, in here there's things like stuff like this. So we can notify Slack as a deployment happens. Look at that. There we go. You could probably notify Discord. Excellent. There's probably Jira integrations. Jira add comment. So if you're tracking a Jira issue number in your commits, you could potentially add a comment to say that this has been deployed. This PR is now out. You could do all sorts of things within Jira, to be fair. Transitions. as well, so you could transition it into QA status as soon as it's been merged to master. Although to be fair, I imagine Jira does quite a lot of that itself. Simon asks, it's free. All of this is free. The only thing you pay for, to be honest, I don't even think. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there's probably no way to charge for these actions. Do correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty certain there's no facility built into GitHub for you to be able to pay for one of these. What there is to pay for though is the action, the time taken. So GitHub Actions pricing. Let's actually confirm those figures from earlier. So public repositories, unlimited. Really? What are we reading here? Okay, yeah, we're not actually on the pricing page for actions here. So there we go. 2,000 actions per minute per month for a free team, I'm guessing. But completely free for public repositories? I'm not sure how I read that, to be honest. Free for public. 3,000 actions per minute. Yeah, I'm going to go with 3,000 actions per minute for your private and completely free for your public ones. But like I say, don't quote me on that. Yeah, I mean, that's in the region of if you're using 3,000 minutes a month, then you can probably afford to pay for it. But then I guess that's probably quite a weighted and political statement for me to make. Actions. It still doesn't really say here. It's like I mean, this is free. So you get 2,000 minutes in the free thing. So they say free for, yeah, it must be completely free. I'm going to go with unlimited for free. Minutes are free for public repositories. Yeah, it's got to be. Completely free, I'm going with, after that long 10-minute spiel about pricing on GitHub. But there's a lot of stuff you can do with this, and if you can't do it within the marketplace, then you can grab one of those images and run the commands yourself, like I was doing there. So yeah, or make your own actions. You could build your own one of these if you'd like to compile a load of stuff away into an action. A bunch of stuff to connect up to your Jira, or a load of stuff, boilerplate stuff that you do quite regularly. You can hook it into that for the win. Okay, I'm looking at the time. I'm guessing it's a good point to say any questions on any of that. Anything that I maybe glossed over? I think I glossed over most of it, but yeah, any questions at all, give us a shout, I guess. I'm otherwise always in Discord on the DMs. Can you write it all down? I mean, I could probably do that, or you could watch the stream to yourself afterwards. What do you want written down, Simon? The process, or do you need a copy of that YAML file? I hate writing articles. I find myself about a sentence in going, why am I saying all of this? No. Just need to get to the point. If you ever have the misfortune of coming across one of the 4 articles I wrote in 2014 or whatever it is when I built my website, which is basically what I think a lot of people do, is come along, build a website, write a load of posts with the best of intentions for about 6 months, and then everything goes quiet. But yeah, they're very much methodical, logical. Then you do this, and this. So, yeah, I'll go through it myself and make notes. Okay. I mean, genuinely, if you need a shove in the right direction, or if you've got any questions, do just ping me on Discord. Send us a DM. Drop it in the dev channel. When it comes to these, they're all very much a muchness. It's just the schema under which you've got to put them. So this whole process would be somewhat identical on BitBucket pipelines. In fact, If I flip over the code now, not with that button, I won't. This is a process for deploying a Laravel image to using BitBucket pipelines. So you can see that, I mean, a muchness. There isn't. Well, it's the same process in effect. So here we're declaring a main image that the whole process should run over, and you'll recognize this as Loris's Laravel Docker image, the Docker image. And then you've got some steps which correlate to our steps in here, right? The difference with this potentially is that I've actually used these as definitions. They're YAML definitions, although you could probably do that in here as well. It's a YAML feature. We've got some definitions here for the main chunks of things that you would do with a Laravel image. So install, which runs npm install and composer install, and then compile some artifacts. The same with the build process, which these are a little bit odd because those are specific to this product, but npm run prod, and we've got some artifacts as well. And then we run tests. So this is your PHP unit tests, and then an analysis as well. So that's PSR basically. And then for the final step, it just deploys with this shell script, which is basically a bunch of commands to run the configure the directory. There's some caveats on BitBucket. BitBucket pipelines themselves, there's an issue. I will drop it in chat perhaps or something, so you can all go and like it or heart it or whatever they call it. But there's an issue on BitBucket pipelines where they will run chown and chmod 777 on your entire directory before you even get a chance to do anything with it, which with PHP and Apache and that sort of thing is not you can't run code that's that permissive basically. So that's a little bit annoying, but apart from that, BitBucket pipelines is basically exactly the same. The only difference is these kind of steps and these actions with GitHub where you kind of transmute, you morph the image that you're using the entire way, whereas with pipelines you've got an image, and you could perhaps use a different image on a different step. But yeah, with this, you've got a slightly different way of declaring the steps basically for a branch. So this is where I was talking about the different branches for release. So the default, it'll run install, build, test on literally every branch that ever gets pushed, and give you a result. However, if something is deployed into release staging or release deployment, then it's going to run install, build, assume that the test is fine. Thoughts on our postcard for that one, and then it will deploy. To staging and deploy to production. With BitBucket pipelines, you've got this kind of weird key that will give you a load of environmental variables basically in hand with that deployment. So yeah, pretty much the same. And I don't have an example GitLab worker or whatever they're called, but they're pretty much the same as well. It's steps. You go through these steps, you get a final artifact, you push it wherever you're pushing it. Cool. Questions? My final shout out before I say goodbye, and say that next week we'll actually write some code. What I did there was flip over to the Patreon slide, and yeah, I didn't actually speak though. I changed over to it, quickly tried to find the USB mic, and then failed to. So yeah, just a quick shout out to the patrons. Thank you very much, and keep us afloat. Watch this space as well. We've got a new, potentially a new corporate sponsor, which is great. Allows us to carry on. But yeah, thanks for joining. Like I say, any questions, ping us on DM. Next week we will actually get down to some nitty gritties. We will build up those models, and we'll start building some views for those models. We'll start listing out what we've got, and we'll go from there. Cool. I very much doubt we're going to get through what we've got to get through in the next 2 streams, but you never know. A little bit of luck. But yeah. I'm waving goodbye. I shall see you. Well, see you tomorrow evening for C# coffee table, agile lean coffee. And Friday, Virtual Social Club. Next week we've got doing a dip into Blitz.js. And then, yeah, should be fun. Give us a shout. Thank you for joining. See you later. Bye-bye.